刘培元的英文教室啊，经典演说篇第129集啊，我们来回顾一下啊。这边是海伦凯勒的演讲啊，她是非常伟大的女性啊，这个盲哑人啊，这个聋子啊，这看不见瞎子啊，然后也不能讲话，也叫这个盲人啊，哑巴也听不到，讲可能可以讲一点，讲不标准，就是盲人，然后聋子啊，这两个都是相关的。那他的演说消弭战争，但是他受过教育啊，受的还不错，所以这个我们前面都提到过，这边不重复。我们因为前面我们讲过，我们回顾，我们只念一下，温故知新啊，所以前面你可能没有看过，你就回去看看，或者前面你看了记不清楚，再回去看看啊。我们这边就不解释了，只是念一下，重新产生记忆啊。所以我们是分两部分啊。现在129集是回顾37、38、130集回顾39、40请分别订阅我的15个 YouTube 频道啊，因为我总共有15个比较特殊，所以希望大家能够订阅15个，不管你是看其中任何一个因为下面都有连结很清楚。他这个标题消弭战争 Strike Against War 1916年讲的，很早100年前超过100年前。所以为什么要讲这些经典演说？它是人类的灵魂人类的良心这个不多讲了反正我们前面都讲过了这是它为什么伟大在哪里？好，我们来念一下所以一个句子黑色，一个句子红色比较好区分，然后动词我标出来动词都绿色字，有时候有3种情况，第一个是它就有一个动词一个第二种它没有动词，没有绿色，它省略掉，第三个它不止一个，可能2个、3个、4个但是子句动词不算有时候它可以用连接词或者标点符号分号所以有三种情况。第一种就只有一个动词我们动词都讲主要动词子句动词那个不算第一种就一个标准的，第二个就没有它可以省略但省略情况不多了第三种就是也有一些2个主句的动词，就是两个主要动词，这边绿色字。To begin with, I have a word to say to my good friends, the editors and others who have moved to pity me. Some people agree because they imagine I'm in the hands of unscrupulous persons who lead me astray and persuade me to espouse unpopular causes and make me the mouthpiece of their propaganda. Now, let it be understood once and for all, that I do not want their pity. I will not change places with one of them. I know what I'm talking about. My sources of information are as good and reliable as anybody else's. I have papers and magazines from England, France, Germany, and Austria that I can read myself. Not all the editors I've met can do that. Quite a number of them have to take their French and German second-hand. No, I will not disparage editors. They are an overworked, misunderstood class. Let them remember, though, that if I cannot see the fire at the end of their cigarettes, neither can they thread a needle in the dark. All I ask, gentlemen, is a fair field and no favor. I have entered a fight against preparedness and against the economic system under which we live. It is to be a fight to the finish, and I ask no quarter. The future of the world rests in our hands, America. The future of America rests on the backs of $80 million working men and women and their children. We're facing a great crisis in our national life. The few who profit from labor of the masses want to organize the workers into an army which will protect the interests of the capitalists. You are urged to add to the heavy burdens you already bear the burden of a large army and many additional warships. It is in your power to refuse to carry the artillery and dreadnoughts and to shake off some of the burdens, too, such as limousines, steam yards, and country estates. You do not need to make a great noise about it. With the silence and the dignity of creators, you can end wars in a system of selfishness and exploitation that causes wars. All you need to do to bring about this stupendous revolution is to straighten up and fold your arms. We are not preparing to defend our country, even if we were as helpless as Congressman Gardner says we are. We are no enemies foolhardy enough to attempt to invade the United States. The talk about attack from Germany and Japan is absurd. Germany has its hands full and will be busy with its own affairs for some generations after the European war is over. With full control of the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea, the Allies failed to land enough men to defeat the Turks at Gallipoli, and then they failed again to land an army at Salonika in time to check the Bulgarian invasion of Serbia. The conquest of America by water was a nightmare confined exclusively to ignorant persons and members of the Navy League. Yet everywhere we hear field events as argument for armament. It reminds me of a fable I read. A certain man found a horseshoe. His neighbor began to weep and wail because, as he justly pointed out, the man who found a horseshoe might someday find a horse. Having found a shoe, he might shoot him. The neighbor's child might someday go so near the horse's ears as to be kicked and die. Undoubtedly, the two families would quarrel and fight. The several valuable lives would be lost through the finding of the horseshoe. You know, the last war we had, we quite accidentally picked up some islands in the Pacific Ocean, which may someday be the cause of a quarrel between ourselves and Japan. I'd rather drop those islands right now and forget about them than go to war to keep them, wouldn't you? Congress is not preparing to defend the people of the United States. It is planning to protect the capital of the Americans, speculators and visitors of Mexico, South America, China, and the Philippine Islands. Incidentally, the preparation will benefit the manufacturers of munitions and war machines. Until recently, there were uses in the United States for the money taken from the workers, but the American labor is exploited almost to the limit now, and our national resources have all been appropriated. Still, the profits keep piling up new capital. Our flourishing industry in implements of murder is filling the vaults of New York's banks with gold. And the dollar that is not being used to make a slave of some human being is not fulfilling its purpose in the capitalist scheme. The dollar must be invested in South America, Mexico, China, or the Philippines. It was no accident that the Navy League came into prominence at the same time the National City Bank of New York established a branch in Buenos Aires. It is not a mere coincidence the 6 business associates of J.P. Morgan are the officials of the Defense League. And chance did not dictate Mayor Michel should appoint to his Committee of Safety 1,000 men that represents a fifth of the wealth of the United States. This may want their foreign investments protected. Every modern war has had its root in exploitation. The Civil War fought to decide whether the slaveholders of the South or the capitalists of the North should exploit the West. The Spanish-American War decided that the United States should exploit Cuba and the Philippines. The South American War decided that the British should exploit diamond mines. The Russo-Japanese War decided that Japan should exploit Korea. The present war is to decide who shall exploit the Balkans, Turkey, Persia, Egypt, India, China, Africa. and who are wielding our sword to scare the visitors into sharing the spoils with us. Now the workers are not interested in the spoils. They will not get any of them anyway. 好，我们这一集回顾到这里啊。我有15个 YouTube 频道啊，这12个是精髓、意思多义、正确发音等等，有不同的难度跟不同的实用性。你可以根据自身条件啊，可以优先看哪些东西啊。因为有15个 YouTube 频道，所以你如果按订阅的话啊，希望能够按15个啊。这一集回顾到这里。